Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bond. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to the Be Visible with Veronica show. Last week's episode with Tasha Tharp spoke about positive friendships, and that's positive with a P-A-W. You're going to want to take a listen or watch to hear what she has to say about her 17-year-old Caleb, her journey that started 14 years ago, and the 11-year nonprofit that she's created that helps children and adults on the autism spectrum. But today, talk about Be Visible. This guest has done just that. A 30-year history with an incredible company, 7 years as an award-winning executive managing director of the year with eWomen Network, and an incredible 7-year coaching business, Julie K Coaching, helping women find their joy and their purpose through their business and their life. And I want to welcome our guest today, Miss Julie Kraschinsky. Hi, welcome from Calabasas, California.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
I'm glad you were able to come in studio and have a conversation because we have so many.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Not only are we business colleagues, but we're friends.
Yes.
And we've been through a lot with each other the last 5-6 years that we've known each other. And we've had the privilege of working together, of brainstorming with each other, of having bitch sessions with each other, because those happen too.
Yes.
But you need girlfriends that you can do that with. But we've
sure.
also really supported each other in our life journey as well. And I love this shift you have happening with your coaching clients right now. And I really love this entrepreneurial journey, this leadership journey that you've been on for 30 years.
Yeah.
Because you came from corporate and you found yourself from Buffalo, New York to California.
Yes.
And life punched you in the gut.
As it does sometimes.
As it does.
Yeah.
Often.
Yes.
But look what you've been able to transform and transition into. A mother of 2 and a grandma of a darling little boy named Coast. He's so cute. And I just love being able to see where you've come from and who you're affecting, and then reading the testimonials on your website, beautifully designed.
Oh, thank you.
And I read through some of them last week. I'm like, wow, this is really beautiful how you've been able to affect lives.
Thank you.
But I remember when you were coming into this new coaching space, and I was there when you decided to leave the company. You can talk about what that was like and step into this new role that you had always been doing. And then people were asking you all these questions, and you thought, hey, I have some expertise and wisdom here. I'm going to do more with this. So I want to talk about what that was like, and if you want to share the company that you still represent, but not really. So let's talk about that. Because I was 23 years in, pretty much, almost, with them.
Yes. Yeah. About that. I think so.
So you woke up one day.
Well, I don't know if I woke up one day. I think it took me a couple days, a couple years, actually, to, you know how you get that yearning, like there might be something more, you know, and you're not sure, like, to take that next step. You kind of know what it is, but you're afraid to take that step because, you know, being in the known zone is maybe uncomfortable, but it's familiar than the unknown zone, right? And so I was working with a mentor and a coach, and her encouragement was, what if the bigger risk was staying where you are and not taking a chance?
Gosh.
And I'm like, okay. But it still took me about 2 years to really
But that's
embody
a mic
that.
drop moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Even for those listening or watching today, repeat that, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You guys ready for some notes? Here we go. This is big.
It was, what if the bigger risk was staying where I was versus taking a leap of faith.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Mary Kay was that company.
Yeah.
So you came out of corporate, you found something to do as a side hustle,
Yep.
and you found you were really good at it.
Yeah. Well,
Really good at it.
Well, I don't think it was like me being really good at it. It was more of taking a chance and doing something different that was out of my comfort zone, coming from corporate America. I was just telling somebody the story too, how that also was one of those moments of, is there something more? Because after corporate, I got a ton of leadership training, good networking skills. I built amazing friendships and really came into my own. And I worked in a very male-dominated field. So it was interesting when Mary Kay came to me because it was through the chamber. And my director, who was my director, had approached me for 5 years to join her team. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell makeup, I'm a corporate woman. I worked my way up the corporate ladder.
I'll use it. I'll be a really good customer.
Yeah. And I wasn't even that great of a customer. She's watching this. She'll know. She said I bought like 4 pink things from her all the time. That was it. But we built a relationship, and I really liked her. And so when she would call me, I would have her come over and she bought a couple things. And but I said no to the business opportunity for 5 years. I kept saying, when I have children. So when I had my first child, she came, said, hey, how about now? And I'm like, no. And then when I had my second child, she's like, how about now? And I'm like, And I was to the point where I was like, I called it mommy mush brain. Everybody relate to that? You love being a mom, being home, but when I got married, we had a lot of similarities. We both were corporate America, driven, new house, new cars, the whole thing. And then here I am now making a pivot as a stay-at-home mom, and it would be like, who are you? Like, you talk about poopy diapers, like how many diapers I changed, and so-and-so didn't take a nap all day, I'm exhausted, and I come home and he'd be like, did you shower today and do your makeup? And I'm like, yeah, I did. They sucked the life out of me, okay? I don't know if there are moms listening that can relate to that.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, and so I just kept saying, is there something I can do that I can still be a stay-at-home mom? That's 30 years ago. You have to think, there weren't opportunities. People weren't working from home.
Not like they are now.
No, not at all. It was a total act of faith. And she just caught me one day, caught me vulnerable.
Well,
to
and
say
yes,
yes.
she was pleasantly persistent. So for those of you who are listening that are in direct sales companies as well, that she just checked in with you, checked for
Never
5
pushy.
years.
Yes.
And you say yes.
She knew, like she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so she stuck with me for all those years. And that one day I just said to her, all right, so she said to me, this was very interesting. She said, I think every intelligent woman needs to hear all the facts before they can make a decision. And so she played that intelligent woman card on me, and I'm like, well, I'm intelligent, and okay, so come over, and then I'll tell you no. That was me, kind of bratty. But so that's what I did. And I can still remember literally sitting at my table 30 years ago this month is when I signed my agreement. And I remember I asked her, like, can I nap? Like, do you care if I take naps during the day? And she's like, no, you're your own boss. You make your own hours. And I'm like, never heard of this thing. I've always had a boss. And so I signed up that day. And that was it. I could say the rest was history, but stay tuned for another day for the story of not the smoothest start launch, that's for sure.
So you launched your Mary Kay business.
Yes.
Your kids are littles.
They were 2.5 and 7 months. Yeah.
Really little. And your 30-day journey began in
30-year journey.
What did I say?
30 day. There was a journey.
30 days?
Yeah, it was a repeat of 30 day over and over and over again.
For 30 years.
Yes, for 30
30
years.
on 30.
Yeah.
Take a new phase on
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So here you are now, 30 years later. You became a director. You earned the car. The jewelry. I think you shared with me the other day that only 1%. No,
I think at the time it was only 1% of people earned the pink Cadillac, and there's a small percentage of people who actually earn the cars. But I earned, me and my team, not just me personally, earned our first car as a part-time, spare time consultant because my husband at the time said, hey, I know you're having fun playing with makeup and getting together with girlfriends, because I wasn't showing him any of the money. And because I'm like, no, I need my own money again. It was really, I felt I wasn't independent anymore when I had to ask him for money when I wasn't working. So I wanted my own money again.
You wanted that fun money.
Yeah, I wanted fun money. I wanted to be able to go to Baby Gap, and I wanted to be able to go to take my kids for French fries at McDonald's, and not have to ask him for money all the time. And so that's really what I was looking for, to make an extra $100 a week. And when we needed a new car, that's when he said, hey, I know you can get a car with that company. And I'm like, oh, no. Now I got to be serious? Like, I got to treat this like a business, And so we did. And I think it was in 4 months we earned our car as a consultant. And it's very interesting because my neighborhood and people around me really never took me seriously, and they never thought it was a real thing, a real business. It was like, oh, she's just playing with makeup.
I think
really
there's
thought
a lot
I lost
of
my
women
mind.
who could relate to that story.
Yeah. So, that was it. And so I think that broke my belief barrier, where I actually was able to help other women. They saw what I was doing, and they would be like, well, can I do what you're doing? And then one thing just led to another, and that's how I started building a team. And then when my son went to kindergarten, I decided to become a director and have a bigger impact.
So all of that initial leadership training you had done in corporate, everything that you'd done to help run that company and grow that company, all of a sudden it was like those file cabinets opened up.
Yes.
And you were like, wow,
Yes.
I can do something more with this business, and I can tap into some of these skill sets. So
for sure.
You started to grow a team, and you became a director.
Yes.
What would you say, because I know Mary Kay has a lot of conferences, and back then there were no Zoom calls, so you were meeting in person.
Yes.
And you were receiving trainings and learning from your directors. What do you think were some of the best pieces of advice or sound bites that you heard being in that industry with that amazing leader?
Yeah, well, Mary Kay Ash was a pioneer, right, back in the 60s, and she's still going strong, this company, and even though she's passed away, we had the best leadership training from Mary Kay herself, and the nationals that she trained, that were trained by her. I didn't get to meet her. She had a stroke the year that I started. She did come out on stage, wasn't able to speak, but I'll never forget that first time I saw her in a beautiful, like, Cinderella pink dress, and they wheeled her out in this beautiful throne, and everybody just cried. I remember they telling me, like, bring tissues, you're going to cry. I'm like, oh, I'm not a crier, I'm not going to cry. We cried, everybody cried. And so the leadership training was second to none. And I go back to many of the things that I learned and use it in my coaching business, and use it when I'm dealing with relationships with eWomen and the communities that we're building.
I love that so much of that nurturing for me and growth and personal development had to do with my journey as a new skin representative.
Yes.
And I started that. I actually found some notes as I was cleaning out my office from 2009. And to look at, I don't know if you've gone back to an old journal, but to look at some old journals and notes from 2009 and then know where I am today, I just read, I can hear my voice in those. And as an entrepreneur, you're always, I think you have a book you're writing in and a book you're reading, because readers are leaders and earners are learners. And it was a phrase that I learned in high school, and my dad used to say that to me all the time about readers. And I don't know if it was a Napoleon Hill or who knows, Stephen Covey, or could have been Bob Proctor, I don't know who said it, but I love Mary Kay Ash's quotes.
Yes.
Because if you look at the top quotes by women entrepreneurs, she's got like 50 of the top 100. I mean, there's so many things that were little Mary Kay-isms that you hear repeated and then get lost. Oh, I don't know, it was unknown. I don't remember where I heard that.
Yeah.
But I look at those notes from myself from when I was younger, 2008, 9, and that journey of who I've now become along the way and who I am now. Yes. And we were talking today earlier about how confidence is the
What we were trying to say.
outcome of courage, or the something like that.
It's a consequence. I think that's what Sandra Yancey always says, right?
Yeah. Confidence is the
consequence
of courage. And you had courage to say yes, to yourself, and then step into this training that you had, which grew a company, and you now become known in the neighborhood. You've got the car, you're on stage, you're getting awards, people are seeing you, and you've built this beautiful business. So now we're fast forwarding to you saying yes to becoming an executive managing director. So these are journeys that you went on, but yet every turn was, I'm a solopreneur, but I have a coach. I love that you said you had a coach, because I think that that's important. Coaches should have coaches.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Mentors. I think because I was so used to having mentorship in Mary Kay, that when I stepped back from that, I actually had an outside mentor from Mary Kay as well that I paid, which normally people didn't do much of that.
I did that too.
Yeah.
I found somebody outside of my tribe to help me.
Yeah, somebody that, understood direct sales, but really didn't have a stake in my success, really. So you have a different perspective that way.
I think they can see things that we don't see for ourselves, but they're not then guided because there's a financial tie to the coaching happening. Yeah. That's why I was seeking somebody outside of when I was in direct sales with New Skin, which, by the way, we still earn checks from. Yeah. You're earning your check. Yep. And so the model works. You just have to work the model. Like, you can't just hope that it's a hope and a prayer and draw on the board the vision
hope
for the future.
Hope is not a plan, right? A man is not a plan. I heard that too. So that's why you want to be independent as a woman, right? And there's so many choices to be independent, especially nowadays. And I just feel that when you listen to your internal guidance system, for me, my faith is really strong. So every time I ignored what my gut was telling me, it was always right. I was always wrong, okay? 100% of the time. So I've learned now, before I make a decision, to listen to that guidance system. I call it my genius power system, my GPS.
Okay.
Because it's always guiding me to the right direction and steering me away from what is not meant for me. Sometimes things look good, those shiny objects, or they sound good, but they're not meant for you.
I love that.
Because people will say, like, oh, you'd be so good at this. Like, when I went into coaching and got out of the direct sales industry, people would say to me, like, oh my gosh, you'd be such a great direct sales and network marketing coach. And I'm like, I would have stayed where I was.
I would have stayed.
I'm like, yes. And, and funny how things work out. I do have a number of direct sales people right now I'm coaching. So the difference was I wanted to coach women that were coachable, right? And were leaders and wanted to make a bigger impact and take what they learned from our time together and create a culture of what, like I created with their teams, and not just keep it to themselves.
So on your entrepreneurial journey, if you could write a letter to yourself from 30 years back,
boy.
what would be in that letter?
Oh my gosh.
To Julie 30 years ago, what would you want her to know?
Yeah. Looking back, I think, they say, I think it was Steve Jobs that said that you can create the future by looking back. Something like that. Like it gives you clues, right? Your past gives you clues of where your future can be. And I think I would have gone faster and not cared so much about what other people thought about me.
You think that slows women up?
Yeah, I think it does. I really was so worried about what your friends and your family think of you, judgment, and really now being mature and
a confident leader.
More confident. There's times when you're not, but
sure.
More so is nobody ever died from trying something new. I mean, besides jumping off a cliff or something like that. Not that type of thing. But I think I would have taken more risks and I would have gone faster and farther and stepped into the roles that I felt like I wanted to be in, but I didn't have the confidence. I didn't see I saw myself in there, but I didn't really know the how to get there. And sometimes the how isn't revealed until you take that first step, right? Mostly it's not revealed until you take that first step.
And do you find in your conversation with women entrepreneurs that they get stuck in this paralysis analysis because
Yes.
they don't know the how?
Yes.
And that's what slows them down or keeps them stuck.
Yeah.
And then they create excuses that aren't really real.
Yeah.
I don't have the money or the finances
The
or I don't
time.
have the support or I don't
Yes.
have the time. And really those are just their own personal
Yeah.
excuses. There's something deeper going
Yeah.
on.
There is. And I think there came a point, there was a time in my life where I didn't have the confidence to make big decisions and even like big money decisions. Like once I went through a divorce, like I had to be the CEO of my life. You know, he took care of the finances and all that on a bigger scale, even though I was making money again. And I just felt when I went through that divorce that I had to wear all the hats again.
So those were some muscles that weren't getting flexed.
They were not. And I had to literally lived a lot in victim mode and scarcity mentality and just, when's the next shoe going to drop? And I had I was in this, oh my gosh, turmoil. Like, how do I have to get myself out of this? Is not who I am. This is not who I've worked to be. And I did a lot of personal development. Bought the courses, hired the coaches. I did all of that. But I did the work on myself. And
Some people would call that shelf help.
Yeah.
But you did the work.
Yeah.
You get into action quick when you're
Got
given
into
a
action.
plan.
And it took a while. I'm not saying it happens overnight.
No.
But now you can pinpoint those excuses. And so now I don't say well, how can you do that? Like, how can we do that? It's like, I'm just curious now.
What would that look like?
What would that look like? I don't
And
have
what
to
would
know
that
the how.
feel like?
Yeah, I don't have to know the how. For me, the how gets revealed when you're not afraid to take that first step that you do know to do. Like, I'll say that to my clients, like, what do you know to do? You know, and if that confident woman, you know, took the first step, what would it be? You know, and get them to see.
And why not me?
Why not you? Yeah.
I just want people to breathe that in for
I
a
know.
minute.
And it sounds great and it's scary, but that's why I think mentorship and having a coach and a mentor
And a
being in the
community.
communities of people that won't let you stay in that victimhood. Like, I had a great community, friends, family that lifted me up and all that. And without that and my faith, I would never have made it through those tough times. You know, and one thing I didn't mention, you know, you had said earlier, is like when I moved from New York to California, we didn't know anybody. And I had just become a Mary Kay sales director and earned my first car as a consultant. I was earning my second car, my first car as a director. Didn't know anybody. And so I had to
now
get out
you
there.
come into this new community,
Yes, yeah.
cross the country from one coast to another, basically. What were some of the first things you did? Because I think there's women listening and watching
Yes.
going, I'm walking in her shoes. I know what she's talking about. What would you suggest some of them do? What did you do?
Well, I had 2 small children, so my priorities were to get them acclimated in school and make sure I was there picking them up in a strange, you know, we had indoor school. I come to California and they're all like outdoor little pods. You go out a door, you go outside to go to the next thing. I'm like, there's no hallways? Like, they were like, what's going on? You know, it was just culture shock, you know? And so, you know, you met moms and nannies, a lot of nannies outside waiting for your kids and built relationships that way. And then I started immersing myself into, I joined a networking group, I joined a chamber. I just wanted to get out and meet professional people. And that's really kind of where my networking really solidified, and I really learned what I liked about networking and what I didn't like about networking.
So the thing that I watched you do the last couple years as you became the managing director of the year and you've created this beautiful community where you live. You're also now side by side curating this lovely group of women that you're pulling together with these retreats you do every year, these beach retreats. They're amazing. Share with me, what was the vision of that very first one? Because I was there with you in concept when that first idea hit, and how you kept it was amazing to me how once you decided. So that's a big word. You have to decide. That you're ready to go.
You're not ready.
Well, you might not be ready, but you decide you're going.
You're going.
But the doors that opened up, the friend who had the beach house for the weekend, because that all of these things started to show up for you. That was 3 years ago when you had your first beach retreat getaway?
I think it was 2023, so 2 years ago. Okay. 2.5 years ago. And you know what you reminded me, what I was going to say before was that there was a time when I would not make a big money decision by myself. I would ask, my husband at the time, and then after that, somebody I was in a relationship and girlfriends, and I would never make the decision on my own. And then it came time where I'm like, you know what? I'm just listening to that guidance system. I'm going to tap into it. And when an idea comes to me or an opportunity comes to me, I pass it through my GPS system and I say, how does that feel? And I sit there and go, if I don't feel like a punch in the gut or feels neutral, then I start asking questions like, what would this look like? How can this, transpire? I don't know. And so I started making decisions on my own when they felt good, and I made big decisions. I made a lot of big investments in my business where most of them were really good decisions. Some of them probably could have
expensive lessons.
Yeah. But for the most part, I always got something out of it, and I think looking back, maybe while you're going through those times, you don't think it's working. But I listened to a gentleman called Myron Golden. I absolutely love him. And he says, all work works. It's either working for you or it's working on you. And I'm like, that's my new motto. That's all I'm saying now.
But could it also be working against you? So you have to have some people around you that can help.
Yeah, it could. But I think if you're truly being driven or led to do something, along the way, if what you believe you're being led to is not showing up in your time, you just have to know that you're being worked on. So it will reveal itself in the perfect time.
I love this. You're being worked on. Because I think so many entrepreneurs, especially women, we're so used to, you have to have the goal and a 3-year plan and a 5-year plan, and you get caught up in the plan.
Yes.
And you think you're working the plan, but now maybe the plan's working you.
Right.
And I discovered that when I was I'm very stubborn. We talked about that. But stubborn is not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
It helps you learn to discern information as you get better at it. So things don't get easier, we get better.
Yes.
So every time I grow, I know it's time, or I'm challenged with something, it's because I'm getting better.
Yes.
I'm getting better at whatever that is in that space in my life. And what I turn to often is this space of, there were times I was taking a hatchet at a door, kicking it down, breaking the window. I was so focused on the direction I thought I was supposed to be going.
Yes.
And darn it, this is the way to go. That I wasn't looking over here to my right, or maybe over here to my left. And the window's wide open, or the great big door is just there and the breeze is blowing through, because I'm so focused over here on going that direction that I hadn't tapped into my GPS to make a shift.
Right.
Wow, look over here. This is better over here. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, when things are the direction you're supposed to be going, these doors open for you. And I watched that happen with your beach retreats.
Yeah. So that was a GPS moment. I was on a walk. I love my nature walks, right? And I literally heard a voice say, "Do a retreat at the beach." And I'm like, because I love the beach. I don't go often enough, even though we live so close. I love the beach. And I'm like looking around like, is there somebody behind me? Like there was nobody. And I'm like, dude, retreat? Like I never thought about doing retreats. And that's when I mentioned it to one of my friends, colleagues. She was a client at the time. And she's like, oh, my girlfriend owns a beautiful home right on the water. I bet we can get it for the day, you know? And that started
because you spoke it out loud. You took an idea and you shared it.
We had no idea. I mean, we ended up having like 12 women. I charged like some $97 or something. They had to work, but I mean, I had no idea of what I was going to do, but it just kept unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, and it was, it just was perfect. I mean, that was 4 retreats ago.
Wow. So here you are in the throes of your incredible coaching business. You've done this 30-year journey as an entrepreneur, and you look at yourself in the mirror. What would you say, as you're talking to Julie in the mirror, what are you the most proud of right now?
That I kept on going. And I'm not done yet. Like, I know I have so much more to give and so much more of an impact to make. And I'm hoping to touch the younger generations that are coming up behind us.
Yes, we have adult children. You and I were talking about how our adult children are looking at our lives going, I want to be an entrepreneur. This life looks great. And we're like, but there was a whole lot of things that happened
before,
prior to the success of being an entrepreneur. So I love that because you were sharing you were working with a 20-something-year-old and the enlightening that's coming from both spaces there. And I love that for
learning
you.
From her, she's learning from me. And so it's been wonderful. Really.
So congratulations on doing all the things that you had hoped and all the things that are still left undone.
Yes.
This great big who knows what in the next 3 to 5 years and what that plan looks like. And I hope to make it on one of your retreats.
Yes. I'd love to.
Hopefully the spring.
Yes.
Since the fall didn't work out. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that you said yes to be visible with Veronica today.
Thank you. And thanks so much for having me.
Well, share your story. It's such an inspirational story, especially for those who are at home with the young kids and who are looking for a life transition. They don't know what that looks like. And maybe that direct sale person's been banging on your door 3 or 4 times and you're just looking for a place to start. Yeah. Because sometimes that can just be the way to get into processes and personal development and growth.
You learn so much, and there's really a small investment to start that way with direct sales or network marketing, just to get your feet wet in business.
If you don't know what that looks like, or if you've left corporate and you're thinking, I have this great expertise, but I don't know what to do with it. Yeah. It's a nice way to kind of feel in community immediately that you're not alone in that space.
Yes, for sure.
And I love that. Well, next week's episode, we're going to be talking to a bookkeeper who started her journey, and it was my very first hire after coming through some coaching because it was a hard hire for me to make. And to talk about finances, right? That money muscle.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Moneymuscle.com. Who knows?
Buy it. We're going to get it.
Yeah, that could be something. But all of our guests receive, all my guests, thank you for coming. It's a Hello Sunshine box. So just like the sunflower, chase the light and find your own happiness. And I just want you to know that every time we connect, you bring sunshine in my life. And I know that you do with every single woman who has the privilege to breathe the air you breathe and be in your space, Julie, because you're amazing. And we're going to put in the show notes how people can connect with you. But what's the best way right now? What do you have going on that they need to know about?
Yeah, it's juliekcoaching.com. You can message me there. Yeah, and my Instagram, same thing, Julie K Coaching, Facebook. just
And I love the
connect with
tips you
me.
share and the connections and just the joy in your journey, I think inspires so many. So
Thank
you for being on today.
Thanks so much.
And we'll connect next week with Cynthia Beving on Be Visible with Veronica, learning about her incredible entrepreneurial journey that set her up for success when her parents needed her most and how she had to move to make that happen. And that will be next week's episode on Be Visible with Veronica. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.